Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs 2019 NFL Draft Class based on analytics. If you're new to the channel, new to the work that I do, all terms and definitions will be in the description. With all that stuff out of the way, let's get to the first pick for the Kansas City Chiefs, which of course was in day 2 in McCole Hardman, the wide receiver out of Georgia. When you look at his market share data, he had a 36.01 passing yards market share production score. Based on my data since 1969, he did not hit the 5-time All-Pro, 3-time All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowl, or even long-term starter area in terms of his market share data. And when you look at the averages at the position, he didn't hit near the All-Pro average, Pro Bowl average, or starter average. He does have good athleticism traits. You know, he had a 90 percentile speed score. And I do see the sort of thinking in this selection is that you're trying to replace Tyreek Hill with a similar type of guy. He's nowhere near as fast as Tyreek Hill, but definitely brings a similar skill set to the table. But his production is just woefully underperforming. And I don't really know how many people criticize me over using this production data all the time, but I mean, these are just facts. The vast majority of All-Pro, Pro Bowl, and starter wide receivers were above average productive, and Hardman is not. So it's definitely sort of an issue where you take a guy like that high, and he doesn't have the sort of metrics that you're looking for in terms of a long-term start at the position. So could he become a starter based on his athleticism traits? Sure, but it's very unlikely that he will become a long-term starter or even a very, very special player based on his overall production data. And then, of course, we get to the next pick of the draft, which, of course, is Juan Thornhill, defensive safety out of Virginia. When you look at his market share data, 98.96 in terms of solo tackle data, 90.04 in terms of interception data, and 99.52 in terms of pass deflection data. His metrics at the strong safety position, he hits every single metric you're looking for in terms of All-Pro and Pro Bowl potential at strong safety. And when you look at him as a free safety even, he pretty much hits all the metrics you're looking for in terms of All-Pro and Pro Bowl potential. And on top of that, his high 90 percentile explosion and speed score. Did not do any flexibility testing, so he didn't do the short shoulder 3-cone at the pro day or the combine. But his production is just incredible. This is someone that I think, based on overall, just production data and athleticism data, should be considered the top safety in this class. And I think the Chiefs definitely got a steal with this selection. And on top of a steal in Juan Thornhill, they also got a steal with the next pick, which of course is Kalen Saunders, defensive safety out of the lower level division. When you look at his market share data, 96.45 in terms of solo tackle data, 76.57 in terms of sack data, and 84.55 in terms of tackle for loss data. Doesn't quite hit all the All-Pro thresholds, but does hit all the Pro Bowl thresholds at the position. When you look at the averages in terms of his production, he looks more like a Pro Bowler than an All-Pro player based on the averages at the position. But still, very, very good profile. And the biggest kicker to me is athleticism traits, 93.37 in terms of explosion, 98.19 in terms of speed, and 97.50 in terms of flexibility for his size. Incredibly athletic. Hits all the sort of All-Pro thresholds, Pro Bowl thresholds, and starter thresholds at the position. And I'm very, very excited to see what happens to Kalen Saunders because he just has incredible athleticism, very good production for his level of competition, and is easily another guy that could be one of the steals of the draft because based on paper, he should have been a first-round pick. And even though he did play at lower level competition, his athleticism was so great and his level of competition production was also so good that he should have been a first-round pick, and you get him in day 2. So the Chiefs legitimately got 2 first-rounders in day 2. Which is very, 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 very good, based on data. Then, of course, we get to Rashad Fenton, cornerback out of South Carolina. When you look at his production data, 17.24 in terms of solo tackle data, 34.04 in terms of pass deflection data. Doesn't quite hit all the areas he needs to hit in terms of solo tackle and pass deflection, become an all-pro player. And when you look at the averages at the position, woefully below what the average solo tackle score is and pass deflection score is for all-pro and Pro Bowl potential. Athleticism-wise, he has good athleticism, but not great athleticism. 39.23 in terms of explosion, 51.94 in terms of speed, and 52.57 in terms of flexibility for his size. Doesn't hit the All-Pro thresholds or Pro Bowl thresholds at the position in terms of overall, but does hit at least the starter thresholds. Looks more like a backup, but still could be pretty decent in terms of slot potential. Then, of course, we get to Darwin Thompson, running back out of Utah State. When you look at his market share data, 41.77 in terms of production score. Doesn't hit the All-Pro threshold, 5-time Pro Bowl threshold, or 3-time Pro Bowl threshold. And when you look at the averages, doesn't hit the All-Pro average, Pro Bowl average, or starter average. Just very below average in terms of the production scores he needs to hit. But could potentially be a good rotational back at the very least. And then the last pick of the draft, which of course is Nick Allegretti from Illinois. In terms of his production, there really isn't much production to say about him. He's his offensive guard prospect. I don't have a lot of data on him in terms of athleticism traits yet, which that definitely will be coming in the future. In terms of posts that I do on my Patreon account, but there's really isn't much to say. But definitely, I'm not going to grade this too harshly as he was such a late pick to begin with. So overall, when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs draft class, I would say it's pretty good. Was each pick good? No. I felt like there definitely were some picks that they could have got better value. Some picks where they probably could have got better. Just better players in general. But when you look at the two picks in particular, Juan Thornhill and Kalen Saunders, those are extremely dynamic players at the position in terms of their production and athleticism traits. And I think if both those players hit, this is going to be one of the best drafts in, it's easily has a chance to be one of the best draft classes if both those players hit, because they just are such dynamic players based on their potential on paper. So that's the thing about this Chiefs draft, is that it doesn't have a lot of quantity, but it does have a lot of quality. And it's just really crazy to think that, this is one of the better draft classes this year, and they didn't even have a first-round pick. So that's the one thing you should be excited about if you're a Chiefs fan. And, of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at JimMetrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know. Hit that notification bell in case you want to be reminded when another video of mine drops. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.